You're listening to a podcast by Hope Bible Church Niagara. You can join us on Sunday mornings at 8:45 or 11 a.m. in St. Catharines, Ontario. You are loved. Welcome back to the Hope Niagara podcast. I am your host, Hannah Van Ryn, but I am not on this week's episode. This week, you get to hear from your pastor, Ross Kearney, and his wife, Leanne. They are just sharing some really honest and encouraging truths about marriage. We all know God cares about our marriages, and so we are super excited for you to join us next week on May 22nd and 23rd for our annual marriage conference. But they're just going to give you a little bit of a taste in this week's episode. And so whether you're thinking about getting married, you're engaged, or you've been married for 20 years, this episode is super encouraging. So make sure you stay all the way to the end.
Here I am with my line mate in life, my love, my best friend, Leanne Kearney.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to be here with you.
It's really nice to have you here with me. And I have often said that people like me better because of you. So
I don't know if that's true, but it's awfully nice anyway.
I predict people are going to be more interested in listening to this podcast with me involved. They always want to listen for Hannah Van Ryn, who's working the dials today for us. Thank you,
Of course,
Hannah.
yeah.
But today we're talking about a very, very important subject, something that matters immensely to God and to you and to me, and that is marriage. We are married, so marriage is relevant for us and many of our listeners too. How long have we been married, Leanne?
Almost 23 years. In a couple of weeks, it'll be 23 years.
Best 23 years of my life. And before I forget, because I am prone to forgetting, I preach with notes because I forget.
Yeah.
And you know better than anybody that I forget a lot of things.
So what do you not want to forget?
I don't know. What was I going to say?
The promo for the marriage
The promo
conference?
for the marriage. I'm just playing with you. So yes, we have, as of right now, when you're listening, depending on when you're listening to this, May 22nd, 23rd, here at Hope Bible Church Niagara, What God Has Joined Together Marriage Conference. So May 22nd, 23rd, 2026, here at Hope Niagara, the evening of the 22nd, the morning of the 23rd, very important time of being together. Nathan and Natasha Penny are going to be here.
Yep. There's going to be childcare provided on Saturday morning. So that's great. That's helpful for parents.
And we are going to have a conversation with a couple from our church who have, in some really profound ways, experienced God's grace. So I can't wait for them to tell their story to everybody, and we want everybody to be there. So that's coming up. But this podcast right here is something I've been looking forward to for a long time. We want to share with you some marriage advice. Now, we have a perfect marriage, of course. So you know, we are naturally people. I'm kidding, of course.
Sure, yeah.
We do not have a perfect marriage. The main problem with our marriage is me being the husband in it, right? This would be a great marriage, except for
I don't know about that.
we want to get some advice, right? How many things? We got how many points today?
I got about 5 things to share.
When she says about 5 things, we mean 5 things.
Well, you never know if more might be added.
That's a good point. I like that.
I don't know.
We might be inspired. 5 things, 5 pieces of advice. We believe it's godly. It's biblically rooted and experienced for marriage.
Yeah, both in our marriage, things we've been through, but also, walking with different people through their marriage issues or premarital counseling. We do quite a bit of that. And all of that is a privilege. And it also is a great refresher course for us because it keeps these things front of mind in our relationship too. So
yeah, that's right.
A nice blessing.
Yeah, and I guess that's worth saying again. Like, I feel like we are, oh my goodness, there's so many things that we don't know, and there's so many things that we need to grow in and improve in our marriage. And yet, like you said, in these 23 years together, and then now also too, like we're coming up on 21 years in ministry together, where we've had lots of conversations with couples, walked with couples through lots of things before marriage and during marriage.
Right.
And so this isn't everything we got to say in this topic. We have a lot of things to think, but it's a podcast, right? Not a dramatic episode upon episode upon episode. So, okay.
Right.
All right, fascinating listening, right? 5
Sure.
things. What's number 1?
The first thing I think is that you need to put the Lord first. You need to honor the Lord with your marriage. It seems like a little thing maybe, but it really is the biggest thing.
100%. Jesus first.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so important?
Because I don't think we can love each other the way we should without the filling from God. So we need to put him first, realize that he is the reason why we're together. Marriage is his idea.
Yep.
It puts his relationship, Christ's relationship with the church on display. All those things help us to see it's bigger than ourselves. And also, we can't do it without him.
That's right. I was thinking of, you mentioned that about putting Christ on display. Ephesians 5:31 and 32, Paul says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." Now he's quoting Genesis there, which is what, and that passage in Genesis is what God said about the first ever marriage, right? When God gave his son Adam to his daughter Eve, and because of this design from God, we have this whole idea of marriage. The two shall become one flesh. And then he says, this mystery is profound. This mystery, marriage. Of course, he doesn't mean there like marriage is a mystery, although like it is in some ways, right? But like it's a mystery. The meaning of marriage wasn't known until now, this side of the cross.
Yeah, right.
That it's, he's saying this mystery is profound, and I am saying that marriage refers to Christ and the church. So just like you're saying, it puts Christ and the church on display.
Mm-hmm.
So in our lives together, like we have not only learned this from Scripture, but experienced this. Like, you know, when you think of the gospel, we think of that beautiful reality that God, sinners though we are, God welcomes us. He accepts us, right?
Mm-hmm.
He welcomes us into his forever family, into his warm embrace. We never have to leave, right? This is what Jesus has secured for us. And in marriage, so also now we got two sinners, we welcome one another. And so through whatever may come, whatever we may experience, we do in marriage does put the gospel on display, which is leads us back to your point about Jesus has got to be first.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what it's for, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need more and more, I think we need examples of what God wants marriage to be in our world. And so the church is called to do that.
Yeah. And marriage is the place where we see that happen.
Right.
Like we tell couples lots, right? That this is what marriage is. It is a picture of Christ and the church. And being that's what it is, that's also what it's for. It is for displaying Christ and the church. This is your purpose. It is to put Jesus and the church on display, which means that even in your bad days, you can glorify Christ. Because the gospel reminds us again that sinners though we are, we have acceptance with God because of Jesus. And we've experienced that in our marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Want to tell them about the bookshelf? Or remember the steel shelf?
Oh yeah, we put this shelf together in our storage room in our first apartment, probably in our first 6 months of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It was so hot in there and we had no space and we were trying to follow directions and it was not our best moment for either of us.
We nearly got divorced in that sweaty. I remember we were just sweating,
Yes.
right?
We had no air conditioning or anything.
No, trying to put this thing together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then when we got all together, we're just like, why did we put the shelf together in the storage closet?
In this small space. I don't know if we were worried we couldn't fit it through the door. I don't know.
We just didn't think or whatever, right? And it's just like these moments of like, it just foolishness. How could we get so quickly? We're all in love and newlyweds. And the next thing you know, we're just like at each other's throats. Right. And it's a microcosm of so many experiences we've had in our lives together.
Sure.
But again, you know, Jesus first. The power to keep on loving each other through disappointments, through hard times. We've had some hard times. There's a period of time in our lives when we were not getting along, not doing well. Maybe we'll talk about that in a few minutes here, but
Sure, yeah.
But Jesus first, he's the glue, he's the purpose, he's the reason.
Yeah, and we, like I said earlier, we need him, his pouring of love into us and understanding the gospel for us to then love our spouse well. Just like, like we learn lots when we learn more about God, when we love him more, it draws us to love the church more, love believers more, and love our spouses more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he becomes a power source for it, right? So in the days when maybe I'm not loving you the way that I should or that you need or want, right? You can still love me and vice versa.
Yes.
Because the power source for the love comes from him. It's not fired by you first. It comes from him.
Right.
So I can love you and you can love me firstly out of the overflow of the love we have in Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's great advice, Leanne. You rock. What's the second one?
The second one, I think we talked about this some already, is just getting real about your sin, recognizing that you're both sinners before God. And Dave Harvey did a really good job of this last year at our marriage conference, just talking about recognizing your own inability to do things perfectly. And we know that, but sometimes we are very quickly, we're just quick to point it out in our partner more than recognize it in ourselves. And so we always need to take a look inside.
Yeah. How many times, let's just get honest now, like how many times do we present ourselves as like, I'm just this good-natured, righteous person trying to live for Jesus, and then you came along into my day and you got in the way and you made me react the way I did. Like we often forget the fact that we ourselves very much are sinners. And this happens. You can get into places in your relationship where you become very much the victim. Now, sometimes you are the victim. Right?
Yes.
But we can get into patterns where it's like, you're always the victim.
Yeah, poor me all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
And overlooking my own contribution to this.
Right. Because most issues, if we're really honest about it, most issues in our relationship aren't just one way.
Yeah.
There's probably contributing factors on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And so to take a look at that and be real about it before the Lord.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so Jesus first, get real about your sin. And then, okay, how do I get real about my sin? How do I do that?
I think being honest with yourself and then confession, like being before the Lord about it. Sometimes when I can think in times in our marriage when I was mad at you.
You mad at me?
And we weren't necessarily together in the same place, but I would be at home stewing or at work, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I came to the point where I just had to realize I got to go before the Lord with this before I go to you with this. And so in my own heart, that was a real shift to be, is this really important or not? Do I need to let it go? Mm-hmm. Or am I sinning in this thing? Like what is my issue? Mm-hmm. And if I can lay that out before the Lord, before I deal with it with you, it always goes better. I think because my heart is in a better place about it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. So get real before the Lord. And then of course, and you mentioned this too with each other as well.
Yeah.
Like confession before the Lord first and foremostly, but also confession to each other. Hey, I got that wrong, and apology, right? Sorry, a genuine sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry, don't like this.
Sorry, got caught.
Yeah, not sorry how this makes you feel.
Right.
But like a genuine sorry goes a long way to healing and wholeness and happiness, right?
Yeah.
It's humility.
For sure.
It's a big deal. That's good. So there's two pieces of advice. So hey, listen, you have to get you about sin. You must disabuse yourself of the notion that the problem in your marriage is mostly your spouse's fault.
Right.
Because in some cases that may be true, but in many cases it's not the case.
Yeah. Or even if it is, it's not like you have nothing that you can't bring before the Lord.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Right. What's my role in this?
And then the other thing I think, because I know people listen and be like, well, you're not married to my spouse, right? And I think you are responsible before the Lord for yourself, and then pray for your spouse. Like have them before the Lord that you want to see these things in them. If you're not seeing them, you can't make it happen, but you can seek the Lord for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jesus first, get real about sin. Number 3.
Number 3 kind of goes in with this, what we've just been talking about. So I'm skipping down a little bit. It is more about not hiding things from your partner, to be open and accountable and transparent. And that seems basic on some levels too, but is not easy to do. Mm-hmm. And so, being real about your habits, being real about the hangups you have, being real about your history.
That was great alliteration.
Thanks.
That's great.
So
the preacher in me that's awesome. Say that again.
So being real about habits, hangups, and history.
Habits, hangups, and history. Okay.
So especially for young people, I think coming into marriage, this is a big deal to make sure when you're coming together for your life that you have a clean slate. But also in marriage, when we do have those times where we do things imperfectly and we screw up or we have sin, we need to be real with our partner about it. We need to be accountable before the Lord and to each other. To walk in the light.
Yeah, yeah. And there's deep theological roots to what you're saying there. Again, quoting from Scripture, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Right? So when you enter into marriage, you're still you, but there's something radically new about you. You are not what you were. Like at one time you had your own identity, you had your own money, you had your own you had your own social reality. You were you, separate from this other person, but now you're not. Now when you're married, you really, in a positive sense, you forsake those realities of singleness, and you now hold fast to another, and so much so that the Bible calls it one flesh. And of course, again, we get our theology right. Marriage is a picture of the gospel. Part of the gospel message is that sinners though we are, we can have the forgiveness of sins and union with Jesus Christ. We are joined to him. And so there's this oneness that we have together. Now, that theological reality now has application that you're pinpointing here. That means that there's no secrets. There's no hiding things, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen so many couples get into huge messes because there's secret sin, there's stuff going on over here. My spouse must not know.
Right.
Sometimes it's sexual in nature or pornography. Sometimes it's financial.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And what I'm doing with money and what we've got.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's things from their history, from their past before that they bring with them. We all bring our history with us into our relationship, and they haven't been real about it or think it's no big deal or they don't need to know about this. And it always has a way of rearing its head.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's better to just be upfront.
Yeah, that's right. Be upfront. I think there's often fear that we're thinking, especially people getting married, younger couples, there's often a fear of like how this will go.
Right.
But we often don't account for is that, look, the truth and time walk hand in hand. So then when it does come out, now there's this compound reality of it's still a hard thing, but now also there's like, what else don't I know?
Right. And I feel like I've been misled.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, for sure.
Just be truthful.
So it's like a bigger bomb in your life later on. So don't believe that lie that they don't need to know about that.
Yeah, that's good. So no hiding. Also too, like being one flesh, like there's everything about me is really your business. We often talk about it in terms of sexual intimacy. We tell, husbands and wives, like, all of your sex is her business. All of your sex is his business, right? That there's no secret side, anything going on, right? And so, but the same thing in really every sphere of our life. Yeah. And of course, it doesn't mean, sure, there's some times that things will arise in your life where you need wise, godly counsel, perhaps, in trying to sort this out and how to maybe address this in the marriage. Like, we're not saying that there isn't a place for, carefully, circumspectly thinking through how to handle this together.
Yes.
But no hiding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Being real.
Okay, what's next?
The next thing I think is that couples need to really learn how to talk to each other.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Yeah. And listen to each other. I think it's really important. Communication, learning to fight fair, learning how to resolve your conflicts, and understanding your expectations.
Wow, there's a lot there.
There's a lot there. Done.
Okay, okay. If people are like driving right now, they're going into the ditch. Like, whoa, one thing after another. Okay, so
we can't talk about all those things really, I don't think, but
yep. That's like a 4-part podcast series for the next season. But let's just sort of knock those out. So talk about you said communication. Yeah.
So we think, I talk, they listen, I've communicated, it's all good. But the reality is we don't all think the same. We don't all communicate the same. And so to know that your partner hears you, you need to learn how to talk to each other in a way that shows that they're understanding you.
Right. And so there's a skill set in communication that we teach couples all the time that has 2 parts to it, which are
active listening and assertiveness.
Yeah, that's right.
In sharing what
Sorry,
you want.
I thought you wanted me to do the other one there. That's great.
Yeah.
By the way, we had no rehearsal for this at all. We were just, right? We have our notes and we're just doing this. So let's start with assertiveness. Okay. Assertiveness is your ability to say what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like. It's your ability, what you need.
Yes.
It's your ability to say that.
Yes.
And then active listening is the what you do in reflecting back what it is you are hearing the other person say.
Right. So it's not necessarily parroting back the same words they said, but it's like telling them what you heard them say.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of like, I don't know, stiff, but it really doesn't have to be when you get used to doing things that way. And especially when you get good at it, then when there's conflict, it's a useful thing for you. Right.
So let's just really briefly help people understand what we mean. So let's just say, just sort of a random example out of nowhere. Suppose Leanne is frustrated with me leaving clothes on the bedroom floor, right?
Okay.
Not that this would ever have happened in our household.
Time.
But let's suppose that happened. And she is going to express this to me because it's a frustration for her. So you're going to say to me something like what?
Yeah. So like, hey, I don't like it when your clothes are on the floor. Right. That seems simple.
Yeah. And so now I'm going to reflect back to you what I've just heard you say.
Right.
So what I'm hearing you say is that I am a slob and you wish you didn't marry me.
Right. There lies the issue, because then you can get into a big argument about something that's not really the issue. So the thing for him to reflect how he's hearing it, how it lands on them, and then to tell them what you're hearing. So then I would be like, no, I'm not saying that. I feel embarrassed if someone's to come by and notice your clothes on the floor. I feel like somehow that's my responsibility, which is weird, I know, but that's my hang up. And so I don't want people to see your clothes on the floor.
Okay. So I'm hearing you say that me leaving the clothes on the floor in the bedroom, it makes you self-conscious when people come into our home and see that, and it bothers you in that way. Like you're self-conscious about that. You feel embarrassed.
Right.
So, okay. I see that. Okay. So now at this point, and of course, my first bit there was a little over the top. I didn't hear her saying that she wish she never married me or anything like that. But it's in a dramatic way trying to illustrate that this actually is how we talk to each other. It's assertive. On the assertive side, it's I feel, I want. It starts with I.
Yes.
It's not you. If you come at me and say you leave your clothes on the floor, you always have your clothes on the floor. Well, first of all, they're not always on the floor.
Right.
Usually, not always. But you know what it's like, right? As soon as you start with you, it's like somebody's pointing a finger at you and you immediately are on the defensive. So it just starts with I. I feel, I don't like, I want.
Right.
And then in reflecting back, in this instance, I'm helping you to see how clearly have I communicated to him? Is he understanding what I'm saying?
Right.
So you would say, now I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. And now we don't necessarily even agree yet.
Right.
Because maybe I think it's good and healthy and wise for us to leave clothes
everywhere.
Well, the money we waste on dresser drawers and stuff like that. But before we get into a fight, and you're talking about fighting fair.
Yes.
We at least, if we're going to fight, we need to make sure it's for a good reason and we're clear on what the issue actually is.
Yeah. And when we say fight too, we're just talking about like
arguments.
An argument, not like a physical altercation.
Never, ever, ever.
Just to clarify that. Yes.
Right. Arguments.
And same with fighting fair. I think when we talk about that, you just You need to talk about what the issue is and not attack the person.
Yes.
That's what I mean by fighting fair. And it's huge because you're not going to accomplish anything if you attack your partner.
What's some unfair fighting tactics?
You always do this. You never do that.
So always and never.
Those are pretty unfair.
Never say never, always avoid always. Because it's just not true.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Or getting historical.
Right.
Right? Historical. Right? Just like, that reminds me of 6 years ago when this happened.
You did that, yeah. And then this, and then that, and then that. Yeah. It's not really, it doesn't help you.
Comparisons too.
Right.
Right?
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, June's wife down the street, June's husband down the street, whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. They would never do this.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe we can edit that out. No, never mind. It's fine. Right?
Hannah can work her magic.
Hannah can work her magic. Yes. You can need a lot of magic this episode here with you and me. People get the idea, right?
Yes.
You need to be kind.
Yes.
Unless, of course, you want to be miserable. You like to fight?
If you like to fight and want to just argue all the time, then you can just do that. But
right.
Yeah.
And we're called, look, again, we got theological roots, right? Think about the patience the Lord shows us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about the love that he has shown us. Think about the mercy he washes over us in Christ Jesus, right? The theological roots for now treating one another this way are there in Christ Jesus.
Right.
Right. So you're on a roll here, Leanne. This is really good stuff. I'm learning lots. Honor the Lord first, Jesus first. Get real about sin, right? I'm a sinner too, not just you. Don't hide things. So no secrets. Learn to talk and to hear each other. You said a whole bunch of stuff. You talked about expectations. Let's next season do an episode on expectations.
Sure.
Because that's a really, really big deal. We'll just leave the folks at home wanting more though on that.
Okay.
And go on to the fifth one.
Sure.
That you have.
Learning to see your differences as not right and wrong. So like I'm right and you're wrong because you see it differently or you do it differently.
Or your personalities are different.
Right.
Right.
Or you are different from me. Yeah.
One, husband is not social, wife is really social.
Right.
That's different. It's not wrong. It's just different.
Just different. And people are often attracted in the beginning in relationships to somebody that is different than them.
Yeah.
And you cherish that and find that very interesting in the beginning. But then later on in marriage, people start to resent their partner for the ways that they're different than them.
Yeah.
And it's really...
It's everything.
Not good.
Communication style to, even we talked about assertiveness. Some people are naturally more assertive than others, right? And have a hard time understanding why others aren't the same way. Social, one's more social than the other. Some people also handling conflict.
Yes.
Right. Some people it's like resolve it right now in this moment.
Yeah. And
where others are.
Yeah. Other people want to have time to think it over and decide what they want to say. So it's not necessarily wrong if your partner does it differently. It's just they're different and that's okay.
And you're trying to say that those differences, if you do it right, can become an advantage.
Yeah. So I think recognize that they're just differences. There's not right and wrong.
Yeah.
And then you can, in your relationship together, it can strengthen you as a couple.
Yeah.
In relationships with each other, but then also with other people within the church, parenting, all sorts of different things. You can learn from each other, grow in those things, use each other's strengths.
Yeah.
To cover each other's weaknesses.
Yeah, that's right. Even thinking the conflict resolution piece, like some people say, I got to resolve it right now, this instant. The other person, I need time to think it through.
Yeah.
Well, there's advantages in that. Sometimes if the person who's like, let's deal with it right now, and they have more time to reflect, they've actually sorted out a little more in their minds, and their partner is in a better place, their husband, their wife is in a better place to be able to address it clearly. And so you're more likely to have a better outcome, right?
Yeah.
However, at the same time, the person that I like time to think over it may mean I actually would just like to avoid it altogether.
Just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, but we can't avoid these things. Like we need to sort these out. We want to grow. We want to be stronger. The issue has to be addressed.
Yeah.
So together you use you can really balance each other in a sense, live in a healthy kind of tension.
Yes.
Yeah.
And learn from each other.
Yeah.
Because you don't think like I do, and I don't think like you do. And instead of that being an issue, it can be helpful to us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
we've been at this now. It's probably like an hour or so, something like that. I don't know. I don't know how long it's been, but anything else that you think you'd want to say? Like, there's lots more we could say, should say.
Sure.
We can save it for another time. But like, what would you say? You got a captive audience here. I know you love our church. You have a big heart for marriages. What's something you want to say to couples who are getting married or are married? What's something else? One last thing you'd want to say?
I think that marriage is a really beautiful thing in the hard and the good. And we need to work to embrace all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, in the Christian life, we have good things and we have suffering and we have different seasons. Marriage is the same. And I think God can use all of those things for our good and his glory.
Yep.
And so we need to see our marriages that way.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And, coming back to the piece that you said at the beginning, I think the thing that I would just want to wrap up with is, you talk about putting the Lord first. And I remember an experience we had in our first week of marriage that really marked us in a positive way. Now you look back at like the events themselves, it wasn't that big of a deal. It seemed like a big deal, but it was a huge impact. We'd been away together on our honeymoon. We were coming home and there was some fiasco at the car rental place trying to return the car.
Yeah.
And we had no money. Like we had nothing. We had no money. We got to try to pay the car for the car. My card is maxed, right? We don't have any money. They're like threatening to like prosecute us or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, well, we'll get it sorted out. But we had money, but we could anyway. I can't remember all the details of it,
Yeah.
but it was like
It's a long time ago
really
now.
big and intimidating. And we had this moment where like, what do we do? That was it. Go to the airport and withdraw cash. They want us to do that, right? So,
and then come back to the rental
and then
place.
come
yeah.
back to the rental
and
place.
not miss your flight. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, we go back to the airport, but we're going to miss our flight if we go back to the rental car company. But if we go back to the rental car company and pay this bill, right, we're going to miss our flight. But if we go and take the flight, they're going to prosecute us or something. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
we had no idea. But here's what we did. Now you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, that's just ridiculous. But here we were young and we were inexperienced
yeah.
and we didn't know what to do. So they were in the middle of a busy airport. We grabbed each other, we bowed our heads and we prayed. God, show us what to do. Show us what to do. Amen. Let's go back and pay for the car. Remember this?
Yeah.
We go out the door of the airport and there was almost angels singing. There was a taxi cab, empty
Right
cab
there,
singing
yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
We go to get into the cab and the cab driver says,
No.
what are you doing? You can't get in here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? That I'm not allowed to pick up people here. You have to go back in the terminal and hang a right
Down
and
yeah,
go down
yeah.
an
To a
escalator
different level.
and then
Yeah.
right beam to the moon and back or something.
Yeah.
And then get a cab in another level.
We're like,
And we
can't.
realized we don't have time for this. We just have to go home. And so we did, and we got home, called the rental car company. It turned out to be not an issue.
Yeah.
But apparently whoever was working that day, it was an issue. But anyway, I'm mostly over it now. But here is the takeaway.
Yeah.
We asked the Lord to guide us, and he did. We did what we thought was best, and he closed the door and led us back a different way. And that was, for you and me, week 1 of marriage, that was a pivotal moment because we learned early on, like, what we got to do to make this work? We have to trust the Lord. We've got to seek him together.
Right.
And that's how you got to roll. That's how you got to roll.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I love you lots.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this week's episode of the Hope Niagara podcast. Wherever you are doing that, we would love if you followed us on there. And we would also love for you to check out our social media at Hope Niagara. And we will see you guys in the next episode.